And joining me from Wilmington in the U.S. state of Delaware is my colleague Amritpal Singh. Amrit, talk to us about the Quad Summit. How did those talks go and what were the key highlights from that summit?
Okay, the Quad Summit is currently on, Ramesh, even as we speak. The four leaders are right now in the summit. It is expected to last a little more. It's over 2 hours. That's what we know about the summit. Now, at this summit, essentially they'll be looking at reviewing where Quad has come in the past 1 year since the last summit. Take stock of that, work out a roadmap for what they want to achieve over the next year, and in diverse areas, and also expand the scope and the ambit of Quad as an organization or as a grouping, and define where they want to take it. From an Indian standpoint, India would want the grouping to emerge to provide solutions to the problems faced by the countries in the region, be it on peace and security, a stable Indo-Pacific, free from any unilateralism by any particular country, ensuring that it's an inclusive zone, there is a free and open trade and security of the important trade routes, especially the sea lanes that pass through it. Look at how the developmental goals and aspirations of the countries in the region are taken care of, not just of the four Quad members, but the other countries who may not be part of the Quad but are a part of the Indo-Pacific cooperation, increasing cooperation in maritime domain awareness, in technology, in emerging technologies, in clean energy, climate change, disaster resilient infrastructure. So essentially seeing that how the grouping can come and be a group, you leverage its strengths and be a grouping which brings more prosperity to the region and provides solutions to the problems faced by the countries of the region. Ramesh?
And also talk to us a bit, if you will, Amrit, about the Modi-Biden bilateral. How did that go?
Well, the Modi Biden bilateral lasted over an hour at the ancestral residence or the personal home of President Biden, where he had invited Prime Minister Modi to host him for the bilateral meeting. They, of course, reviewed the entire gamut of relationship. It is a comprehensive strategic partnership, so it has a defense angle to it. It has, of course, trade and investment. Is an important component of the relationship, and cooperation in areas in emerging technologies, and looking at, and they also spoke about the global conflicts that are currently afflicting the world, be it the Ukraine-Russia conflict or the Gaza-Israel conflict. It's and its escalating nature in the region. So how India and US exchanged views on how steps can be taken to contain that and stop its further spread or a spillover into the region. So this is what figured in the talks between the two leaders. Ramesh?
Now, Amrit, you spent the last few days in Wilmington in particular. What can you tell us about the Indian diaspora there, the Indian American community, and how they welcomed Prime Minister upon his arrival there?
Delaware is a small state here, and the Indian community here, though in Delaware, in Wilmington, is pretty small. I mean, you find most of the Indian community on either on the East Coast or the West Coast, or even in places, manufacturing hubs like Houston, etc. But there is still a presence of the Indian community here, and we saw the Indian community, greet the Prime Minister. They had gathered in numbers above. There were about more than 100 people who had gathered both at the Philadelphia airport where the Prime Minister landed this morning, and also at the hotel. You saw the visuals play out. I had spoken to a few of them. There were Garba dance performances. So the Prime Minister makes it a point to reach out to the Indian community, to the Indian diaspora, diaspora, so that there is a personalized message or a personal touch where they can see the Prime Minister in person, see him from close quarters. That of course builds a sense of belongingness in the diaspora. There is understandable excitement to see the Prime Minister up close rather than seeing him on television. So all that happened this morning. From here in the evening, the Prime Minister moves to New York, where he'll be addressing a larger group of the Indian community at a function called Modi and the US. That function, of course, will be the presence of the diaspora would be in larger numbers. But the Prime Minister chooses to interact with them. The reason, of course, one is, as I said, to give them a sense of belonging. But from the other or the more substantive part of it is leveraging the strengths of the Indian diaspora, especially in the US. If you look, there are about 4.4 million strong Indian diaspora in various sectors. They are in there are Indian doctors, there are Indian technologists, engineers, and many of them have risen to very top positions of global companies, as we know. There are blue-collared workers as well. Every third cabbie that you see in New York is from Punjab. Every fourth motel that you see is owned by a Gujarati. Most doctors are from India, and they're pretty well respected. They are considered to be very competent doctors. Indian, as I said, Indian engineers, especially the software engineers. So using the leverage of this diaspora,
Right.
because many of them may have been living for more than 2-3 generations, and they are steeped into the American society and play an important role there. And many of them now have become big businessmen and would like to invest in India because they have some kind of an emotional attachment. So the idea is to use that to see that as India grows, they can be part of the Indian growth story, and the diaspora or the Indian community, even if they are Americans today, Indo-Americans, use their talent resource, their financial capital to see that both India and the diaspora can progress further and be in a mutually beneficial relationship. Ramesh?
All right, we leave it there, Amrit. Thank you. Amrit Pal Singh reporting there from Will.